quarter pipe incident.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the quarter pipe. Just to let you know.
Was it?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't the quarter pipe. It was
What's
the
it called?
75 ramp.
Is that when it
So
happened?
just jumping, and it was doing a whip.
Okay.
So that was the whole thing, and that's what I was getting at. So developing the quarter pipe bike, that week I'd called Yamaha and asked for a second bike to make, because my quarter pipe bike I couldn't ride on ramps. And the first time I rode it off a ramp, because I just didn't want to hit the quarter pipe straight up with all this new suspension and shit, I hit the ramp and I threw a whip and I fucking not nearly crashed, but it was like real weird, and I nearly didn't bring it back and shit. And I'm like, fuck, it's hard to do a whip on it. And it's because it was so stiff, and I'm trying to make it stiffer and stiffer. So, because I was still like just blowing through on the up ramp and blowing through on the down ramp.
That's stiffer than Supercross suspension.
Oh, it was 3 spring rates heavier on my Supercross setting. So we were going to have to get into like.
Wow.
So
I didn't know such a setting existed.
I know. And, uncomfortable bike.
Oh, you'd hate to ride that thing.
And I rang Yamaha to get another bike, and they said, yeah, no worries, we'll give you another bike or whatever. A week later,
Yeah, cool.
I was supposed to ride quarter pipe, and the wind picked up. So I thought I'll have a play ride, hit the 75, and lights out.
So I've got written here, 21 bags of blood.
Yep.
Fractured the thoracic and dislocated the lumbar spine.
Yep.
You broke 17 ribs.
Yep.
Fractured your pelvis.
Yep.
Punctured both lungs.
Yep.
Fractured your C4 and your C5.
Yes. And what was the start? Ruptured the...
Punctured both lungs, fractured pelvis.
At the start.
Ruptured a major artery that needed 21 bags of blood.
That's the major one.
That was the big ticket?
Yeah. That was the one that near cost me my life, and I was just it's pure luck that it happened at my track. If it happened anywhere else, so they pretty much gave me no chance. Well, they had already called the coppers. You know, the cops turned up, set up the crime scene, put the little numbers around, pretty much drew a fucking picture where I was laying, interviewed the guys, took my bike. And the coppers met my wife at the hospital, and so they literally, and they said like that type of injury to my chest, 20% chance of living. So, and the only time they see it is on the big, freeway head-ons and shit like that. You know.
What's it from? Just such a brutal impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
So breaking that many bones, obviously I took it all on this side because I broke all these ribs on this side.
Yeah.
I broke 6 on this side, but then broken this side pelvis, hip, and then all the back and stuff. So it was a bit of got knocked out for 7 minutes.
Wow.
So
that's about as close as it gets.
As close as you get to dying, close as you get to not walking. So when I did dislocate and everything, my spinal cord was kinked. So my wife gets to the hospital, the cops are there, and she obviously starts like, why are the police here? And like any wife would, freak out. And all the lady said is like, your husband's sick and he really needs help. So it's something that for her, she went through hell and back and whatever, and I did make it through that. So this is at about 6 I think, because I crashed in the afternoon, and she found out at 11 that I made it through the surgery, and I was stable, but I was obviously in a coma for a week. So I was a week in a coma, but the next day she goes in to see me, and she said it wasn't that you see on the movies, peacefully laying there or whatever. I was just hooked up to every machine, every tube down my throat, everything, whatever. And then they say that they had to take me in to try to fix my back, and there's a chance that he won't be walking again. So that was another thing so she got through the first one and then had to, wait.
But what state?
Yeah. So, hectic.
And full recovery?
Full recovery, like six months. So obviously, my lower back's fused now.
Yeah.
So, but doesn't really like putting on me socks. I reckon I'll eventually be just using slides. I won't be putting on socks. I won't be putting on shoes.
They didn't give you one of those sock pullers that they give you in the hospital?
No, well, I'll be getting one, that's for sure. And at the moment, it's quite funny with my kids getting dressed for riding. The hardest part about riding for me these days, so people say it doesn't hold you back and it looks like you're better than ever, and I honestly feel I'm better than ever. I had yesterday, I had probably one of my best rides I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, relaxed, but super fast, doing like stuff that I don't normally do. And I've been running this place for 10 years.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was doing shit that I hadn't been really doing. So I just at a stage where everything's good.
How old are you again?
Was that 41?
41.
And the hardest part about riding these days is putting me socks on, man. Me riding socks. Like, it is the amount of Alpine Stars riding socks I've ripped because I'm trying to pull from almost my...
It's too far away.
It's just too far away and I can't lean down.
Well-
Getting your lower lumbar fuse, you lose that movement.
From age 14 when you started to your factory rides to KTM, to your KTM, to Dakar,
Yep.
into working the quarry, to racing again, to your quarter pipe, to your whip. If you can only just struggle to put your socks on, you've
Doing all right.
had a pretty good run.
Hey,
I reckon.
I've heard of concreters that got worse injuries. Well, you would know that.
There's some days my socks, they're just too far away.
Yeah.